Hello, welcome in, and of course, welcome back to another podcast episode of Ashley Loves True Crime, honey. And I am just so happy that you guys are back to listen for another episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the introduction of my podcast, my first episode, and now the second part of the podcast, which is the second series of my Christmas True Crime edition. So, this will be the second part and the ending of our series on Christmas stories. I am recording this on a Monday, which is December 22nd, so 12/22 of 2025, and I will upload this probably on Christmas Day. Normally, I try to record on Thursdays, but since I know Thursday is actually Christmas Day, I'm going to go ahead and record this live in my studio today, Monday, and then it will be uploaded onto YouTube or premiered on YouTube on Christmas. So, right now, I have my live audience over here listening in, so they'll get to hear all my bloopers and my ums and oohs. But for a smooth podcast, you guys can always check me out on YouTube, and that is at Ashley Love Honey on YouTube. So let's get it started with a little admin. As I stated earlier, it's Christmas, and I am just looking forward towards the holidays. I really have had a rough 2025, and I am looking forward to 2026 and seeing what God really is gonna reveal to me. Yesterday was a really blessed day. My son got baptized, and it was his decision. He came to me maybe 3 or 4 weeks before he decided to go to our pastor, and he decided to make that decision to be baptized. So I was very excited to be there, and he chose all white, and so I was out all Saturday just ripping and running and ripping, trying to find him a all white suit. And I ended up finding it at the D&K men's store, and they took great care of us there. The only thing I did not like is that they don't do a veterans discount, so that just made me ugh about it. But maybe somebody in D&K can listen to this and be like, hey, we need to make that always at least 10-15%. But they did give us a little 5% discount because we do go to them a lot for our suits. My dad, he likes to wear suits, and my son is getting into it too. Good traditions being passed down, and I have a lot of great surprises for my son. I'm not going to talk too much because he's probably somewhere in this vicinity listening intently, trying to figure out what I got him for Christmas. There's been some packages that came to the door, and I know that he is just going to be very surprised. So that is my little admin information and just going over my week and everything that I look forward to. And I probably will end up recording another podcast at the beginning of January. But if I don't, then the next episode will be the week after Christmas. But 9 times out of 10, it's probably going to be the new year that I upload an actual new episode. So let's get into the part 2 of my Christmas True Crime series. This one I have named The Vicious Vindictive Valentine. So welcome in to part 2 of my Christmas crime series. In our last episode, we uncovered the tragic events at the Red Lantern Inn on December 25th, 1975, spotlighting Jackie Layman, an escaped prisoner sentenced to a staggering 99 years. If you missed it, I highly recommend catching up for next content on our next deep dive. Prepare for a story that twists and turns so dramatically you'll feel like you're watching a Lifetime movie, except this is real life. Today we'll delve into the chilling saga of Jerry Roger Brackett, a man whose life was marked by deception, violence, and a haunting connection to a past tragedy. Our citations for tonight are going to come from IMPD.com and new portal plaintalk.com. Brackett transformed himself into Roy Stephen Valentine, living under the shadow of a boy whose life was cut short at just 18 years old during the Red Lantern shooting. The real Steve was one of the four victims in the deadly confrontation on Christmas Day, 1975. As I stated, he was the youngest at the shooting. Now, how Brackett acquired Steve's social security number remains a mystery, but it's believed he may have encountered information about the Red Lantern incident through connections in the Cook County area. After being convicted of second degree murder in 1984, Brackett escaped from prison in 1988, adopted Steve's identity, and moving to Indiana. There, he blended into the community, even marrying Teresa Boring on August 30th, 1991. While concealing his dark past, she described him as friendly and trustworthy, a stark contrast to the man he truly was. Teresa, swept off her feet, never suspected that the man she loved was living a lie until telltale signs began to surface. Their life together seemed idyllic, but Teresa began to notice oddities like Brackett's aversion to discussing his family and a peculiar disdain for Christmas. These clues, pieced together in hindsight, paint a disturbing picture of Brackett's deception. What I also found interesting was that Teresa met Brackett hiking and he introduced himself first as Ed Parker. Mind you, he was an escaped prisoner from the 1984 murder. He came up backpacking with a putt tent, says Boring, and she told this to the Tribune. He was sitting at a table eating a bologna sandwich. He seemed like a super nice guy. We started talking and got to know each other. Boring would go on to say he often would not respond when she said Ed Parker, but his charm made her ask no questions. He was such a wonderful guy, she said in the newspaper interview. He always bought the kids in the campground ice cream. Boring said with Ed Parker, aka Valentine, aka Brackett, stayed at the campsite for a month or two and moved on. He first said that he was going to go live in Mexico, but he ended up in Winter Point, Tennessee. Borden had given him her phone number, and he soon called. But when he did, the name had changed from Ed Parker, and now he was Roy S. Valentine. He told her that he had a business and was dealing with taxes and was on vacation and didn't want anyone to know his name. Phone calls led to visits to Indiana in 1989. That visit led to a couple exchanging letters, and then Valentine proposed to Boring on August 30th, 1991. Now, mind you, this man is a killer. Other signs that would have made me run was that he was apparently involved in the death of a 16-year-old fox terrier, which is a little small dog. Valentine also sold some of Boring's antiques, but once again, his charm made her ignore all the signs. The truth began to unravel in 2001 when Teresa encountered issues establishing telephone service due to discrepancies with Brackett's social security number. Investigators eventually linked Brackett back to the infamous murder that he was convicted of. After years of careful investigation, it's about 4 years, officials had enough evidence to act when Teresa alerted them in early 2003 that he planned to relocate to Arizona. On January 20th, 2003, allegedly abducted 57-year-old Mary Jo Pat from her home. Her husband, Joseph Pat, died from a heart attack the following day, stressed by the turmoil of his wife's abduction. On January 23rd, just 3 days later after he kidnapped Mary Jo, the drama escalated when authorities tracked down Jerry Roger Brackett, also known as Ed, also known as Steve Valentine, at a rest area along Interstate 17, just outside Flagstaff, Arizona. He was behind the wheel of Joseph Pat's van with the abductee, Mary Jo Pat, still inside. What transpired next was a heart pounding confrontation between law enforcement and a wanted criminals. As officers closed in on him, Brackett attempted to flee. A tension exchange of gunfire erupted, with police opening fire on the van. In a desperate maneuver, Brackett swerved and crashed the vehicle into a tree about 150 yards from the rest area. The impact left him wounded in the upper torso and left arm, but he managed to escape into a surrounding Arizona desert. However, Brackett's evasion was short lived. Authorities quickly mobilized and mounted a thorough manhunt, apprehending him just a few hours later. He was rushed to a Finnish hospital where he remained under guard as he received treatment for his injuries. Meanwhile, the chaos of the shootout left a sheriff's deputy injured when he was struck by the fleeing van, but he was treated and released from a local hospital. Miraculously, Mary Jo Pat was also returned home unhurt, through shaken by the horror ordeal and, of course, dealing with the tragic news that her husband had died of a heart attack. Brackett faced several felony charges, including kidnapping and armed assault. He also faced the additional charges in Indiana for his past crimes. This story captured the attention of the media, with the Lifetime television channel preparing an episode for its Secret Life series called Vicious Valentine. And that's exactly what he was. There are some hard truths that lie inside of here. As we reflect on this unsettling tale, we confront a hard truth about lies. They often lead to a web of destruction. Deception doesn't merely affect the liar, it impacts families, friends, and entire communities. Trust, once broken, can take years to mend or may never heal at all. In the Bible, Proverbs 12:22 reminds us the weight of deceit. Lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but those who act faithfully are his delight. This verse underscores the importance of truthfulness and the inherent dangers of dishonesty. The ramifications of Brackett's lies not only led to his downfall, but also caused irrevocable harm to innocent lives, leaving a trail of pain and heartache in their wake. From the last episode on this Christmas series, we looked into the lives of Jackie Layman and now also the life of Mr. Brackett, both men who refused to accept their fate, men who lied, deceived, and became murderous for those lies, men who would go to the ends of the earth to run from what was already fated for them, men who, given chance after chance, would choose the same murderous path. Join us for the next episode. This episode serves as a reminder of how easily trust can be manipulated and a long lasting effect of deception. Until next time, stay safe and aware, and keep those close to you even closer.